it's Giselle here with Motivational Minds Radio, and this is the program where we get to take a closer look into the minds of the authors who put the magical words on the page for us to enhance our reading pleasure. Their words keep us motivated, they keep us inspired, and they prepare us each and every day for the adventures that life throws at us. On today's program, we've got Robin Hatcher, and she is the author of Standing Ovation Presentation. Discover your unique actor type and let it shine. God, I love the title of that. I mean, you know, the creative world is filled with so many things that you get to bring with you on your daily experiences, and I think that it's going to be amazing to hear how discovering our actor types can work for us. So let me tell you a little bit about Robin. So Robin is an author and a communication skills expert who brings more than 17 years experience to her position at Speak Etc. And Speak Etc. is a boutique communication and presentation skills training company. Now, because Robin knows that many communication issues stems from people's ability to recognize and own their tremendous value, she delivers dynamic presentations, workshops, and trainings that are both engaging and inspirational. Now, Robin, she was once a shy child, and that has completely turned around because her passion is for helping people improve their communication so that they can express themselves effectively and powerfully. There's so much more to say about Robin. I mean, she's helped thousands of business professionals to improve their presentations and to conduct successful interviews and improve their interpersonal communication with Fortune 500 companies such as Lifetime Television, Jones New York, AXA, JetBlue, I mean, so many. And if I keep talking about Robin, we are never going to get a chance to speak with her. So let's get right into it. Robin, it is a pleasure to have you on today. How are you?
I'm excellent, Giselle. Thanks so much. It's really been great meeting you, and can't wait to get started.
Awesome. So let's go right into this book because, you know, these actor types that you speak about, you can't give us all of it because then we have nothing left to read.
Exactly.
But first of all, can you tell us a bit about what these actor types are? And first of all, what does the title mean?
Yeah, Standing Ovation Presentations and the unique actor types. Oh, I love helping people present themselves as you. One of the things that happens in the world is like we all think that there's a one-size-fits-all way to present, way to talk, way to give a presentation, an interview, all of those things. What I've come to believe is that if we're not in touch with who we are, what type our style is, then it's not going to be a very effective communication or presentation. And so what I want is everybody to feel as though they can get a standing ovation when they present or talk or communicate or interview based on them being the unique them that they are. And that's why the unique actor types. And what I discovered in life is, like, I've been an actor for over 30 years, and I've been a trainer for about 15, 17 years. And what I noticed is that even as actors, we all have types, but people all have types too. And when we can really harness the power and the strength of our individual style, our communication style, and elevate that style, then we are standing ovation worthy.
Ooh, that's beautiful. So as an actor or an actress, when did you discover that these characteristics were transferable in day-to-day life?
Yeah, excellent. What happened is, you know, when I was a struggling actor, as you will, I decided to get a part-time job as teaching English as a second language. And when I was doing that, I was dealing with adult students from various countries, Koreans, Russians, Japanese, so many different countries. And every time I would work with them, and I eventually developed my own public speaking class just for them. And when I was working with them, I started to notice similarities and different similarities within people. And I thought, oh, that reminds me of this. And then another job that I had was I was a writer for soap operas. And so I wrote for 2 daytime dramas. I wrote for All My Children and One Life to Live. And when you're writing for daytime dramas, there are specific types that you need to stay within those parameters. So, for instance, if I'm writing a line for Erica Kane, she's got to be the supermodel sex symbol, which is one of my types. However, if I'm writing a line for, you know, the character of Daisy on that show, She is much more of a buddy type, so you have to really tailor not only the dialogue, but the actions that they do to the type so that that'll be true and believable. And so with those two experiences, that's where I realized that, there's something that's missing in the communication world, and that is really showing people in a fun and easy to understand way that being the best them they can be can also make them the most effective presenter that they can be.
Wow, that's amazing, Robin. It sounds like integrity is a big part of that, and when people really start to own their integrity and understand that it's a gift to them, then they can just be who they want to be whenever they want to and get responded to appropriately.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. When you're in integrity, you're so much more powerful, you're so much more effective, and the bottom line is you're so much happier. What happens with people who dread presentations usually dread them because they have this idea of what a perfect presentation is, and it usually is modeled on some boring person that they've seen over and over again. And who wants to be that boring person? It's not fun. It's not fun standing on stage knowing that you're boring half of your audience. It's so much more fun standing on stage and knowing that you're sharing part of who you are and some really important information with some people that are great. That's the idea that I like to have behind every presentation.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you, and I'm just so excited for you to tell us about these types. So can you share with us maybe, I don't know, your favorite types or which type that you encounter the most?
Yeah, some of the most prominent type would probably be the hero, and of course that's the most prominent type in television and in the movies. And the hero is I always think of the heroes is when you're watching a movie, you know immediately who the hero is by the lighting, by the way that the camera angle is, whether they have this strength or this really charisma immediately, so the camera is drawn to them, their eyes are drawn to them. And that's what a hero actor type is. People are drawn to them because they're charismatic, they are friendly and great and powerful in a certain way. They can influence. They're influencers. So those are the hero types. And a lot of times in business and in entrepreneurship, you will encounter that type the most, or you will encounter people who self-identify as that type. Now, I just want to interject that I have a quiz on my website, www.speakeTC. So you can go to my website and click on a very simple quiz to answer some very short questions, 9 questions, and that'll spit out what your primary actor type is and your other actor types. So one of the types...
I'm so glad that you said that, because in my mind as you were sharing this and the different qualities of the hero, I'm like, oh my God, we need a graph. We need something we can see, because you can actually see these things. So that's so perfect. www.speakeTC.com, and you can get your type just spit out right to you then and there. Continue.
Yes. So the thing that I talk about in the book is like everybody wants to be hero and think, oh yeah, shouldn't that be everybody's type? It's not really. And the other thing that I put on every one of these actor types, there are 9 different actor types that I identify, they all have what is called their fatal flaws, what I call the fatal flaws. And as a screenwriter, when I was writing for screen and when I was writing for television, you cannot have an effective character without having a fatal flaw. So the question is, how deeply do you fall into that fatal flaw? Now, the hero's fatal flaw is sometimes they are so charismatic, they're so outgoing, that they fail to be vulnerable and they fail to be sensitive sometimes, so that what will happen then is that charisma turns into a negative because people lack trust in them because they think that they're all charisma and no real substance in a way, or no vulnerability or no compassion. So sometimes the hero then needs to really work on other qualities so that that hero doesn't undermine their presentation style and their communication style. And another very common type is the buddy type, as I mentioned. And the buddy type, a lot of female entrepreneurs are that, and a lot of female workers are that, because when you think of the buddy, you think of Seth Rogen, you think of Sandra Bullock, the kinds of people that just want to be your friend. That's all they sort of care about. They care more about being liked, and they care, well, a lot about being liked, a lot about doing great things and helping people. And those are all fabulous, fabulous qualities. And buddies are the type that you walk into a room and they're friendly and they're outgoing and all of that. And of course, the fatal flaw for the buddy is that sometimes people will take advantage of that. And for the buddies, sometimes they don't have the backbone to really stand up and ask for what they need, ask for what they deserve, speak up when they deserve it, and say no when they need to. So that's, and so those are two qualities, two characters. And a third character that I could mention is the superhero. And the superhero is different from the hero. And the difference is you'll know a superhero because, you know, if you think of Superman walking into a room and then you think of Tom Hanks walking into a room, they're going to walk in a lot differently. The superheroes like burst into a room and they look for something to fix. You know, and you know those people, those are those superheroes, so there's got to be something wrong. I smell it. Let me fix it. Let me help you. They have a lot of energy. They have a lot of drive, and they have a lot of passion for righting wrongs. And sometimes with superheroes, however, they work so hard at righting wrongs that they haven't really stopped to realize that, you know what, that's not so wrong. And so they will go in and, like, you know, it's like the tilting windmill scenario of going after and attacking problems that may not be big problems. And so they can come off a little bit too strong. And I think the last one I'll talk about is the whiz kid. And because I work in financial services with financial services individuals quite often, you see a lot of whiz kids. They have a lot of information. They love doing research. They're very, very smart and very, very knowledgeable. And what happens is they are very respected for that quality, but as communicators, it can be very difficult for whiz kids because they do not have the knowledge or the observations or the empathy to realize that sometimes people don't care about the minutia of what they care about. And what they need is they need somebody to be in rapport with them. They need somebody to empathize with them. They need somebody to chat with them rather than dump data onto them, which is what whiz kids can tend to do sometimes.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, I have to ask a personal question. I'm sure that our members will, our audience members, right? I'm sure that they will appreciate this question because I happen to love vocabulary and love words, and probably because I don't have the greatest vocabulary. So, minutia. Please share with the people what minutia means.
Minutia is the tiny little details, the detailed, intricate details of an issue. So, like the minutia means the minute, the tiny, fine, the minuscule, minute, the mini. You know, so like an example that I'll give you, that I often give is when somebody asks about a widget. You know, they don't care what the widget is made out of, where it comes from, who sources the material, you know, what fabric it's made out of, you know. They don't really care about that. They often just care, like, is this widget going to work for me? Is it going to make me happy? Is it going to change my life? You know, what a whiz kid will do will give you the dimensions, the weight, the color, you know, all of the minutia.
Right, got it. Oh my gosh, I think that's a perfect word. I mean, I work with detail all day long. And
yeah.
Everything is really in the detail, but some people care about different parts of the detail.
Yes.
And when you put together something like a movie or a television program, you know, there are a lot of details that go into that. Can you imagine, guys, that, you know, there was an actor, and the actor was also responsible for lighting the show or for writing the script. Like there's a role for everybody.
Right. Yeah, that's an excellent point. And in life and business and work, there's a role for every actor type. And a lot of people will ask, well, what's your favorite, or shouldn't everybody be this, or they will find out their actor type and say, oh, I don't want to be that. You know, there's a place for everything and everything in its place, and everybody has value. And sometimes, and often what will happen is you'll have an actor type for some part of your life because it worked really well for you. And then at some point, when circumstances change, your life changes, your experiences change, and your actor type doesn't change. And so those are the cases where I will that's a lot of my coaching clients will come to me for that. And what I'll do is I'll start to elevate some other strengths and move them into possibly strengthening another type of their actor type, another part of another actor type all in general, and have that actor type show up much more often than the old one, because the old one doesn't fit anymore. And sometimes that will happen. And sometimes, different techniques, different styles don't work for a specific situation. So sometimes, and we're not all just one actor type, we're often just a blend. Sometimes a more even blend, sometimes a really disparate, a really different blend. But what you want to do is know what style to use in every situation.
Right. There is a time and place for everything, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. So how do you teach people to find that healthy balance of being their best selves and being their unique you, but still incorporating all of the strengths and also acknowledging and using the weaknesses of all of these types?
Yeah, that's a great question. What I work with them first and foremost is defining what that unique you is, and polish the visual signs of that, which means the body language, their vocal tone, all of that. Then also the vocal tone, how they use their voice, all of that. And then the content, really using engaging words. Now, if you're true to yourself and you're mitigating, you're getting rid of or just minimizing some of the weaknesses in that style, then it becomes a question of, and it also has to do with the fourth part, is your value. What do you value? What do you want out of your life? What is valuable to you? What you love in life and what you stand for. And when all of those things are consistent, that will be your dominant actor type that can work in the majority of the situations. Now, if there's somebody who's a buddy, I will then let them borrow some of the skills if need be. So as the buddy leader, I will then talk to them how to use the voice of a hero sometimes, use the voice of a superhero sometimes in a given situation, but still keep the integrity of that buddy, the qualities of the buddy, which are the warmth and the friendliness. You want to keep those qualities and then add on a quality from maybe another type that is going to strengthen your presentation and your presence so that you show more authority and you're more respected.
Wow, Robin, this is incredible because, I've studied and trained in this that you're teaching here in this book, and what I love is that you have translated in a way that is more tangible and easy to access and not so hard to understand for everyone.
Right, right.
Who are you?
Mm-hmm. Who am I? I am a hero buddy. And one of the things that I realize and why I'm so knowledgeable about the hero buddy scenario is that if I show up as totally buddy, which is probably having been shy my entire life, most of my entire life, that is probably my default actor type. You all have what I call as the default is where you go in stress. So your default actor type is my buddy type. So if that shows up in the middle of a contract negotiation or me submitting a proposal and defending my proposal, it usually doesn't work out well for me. So what I have to do is I have to bring my hero or superhero. See, for me, to bring a superhero is not going to be effective in that kind of a contract negotiation because it's way too much of a departure from my natural buddy nature. So what I would bring is my hero qualities, which is that strength and all of that power and charisma and charm, but also respect and authority. So then in those situations, I have to really tap on those tools in order for me to ask for the business or to state my prices clearly and authoritatively. And then there are situations, so say I'm doing a presentation and I have somebody being rude. Then I have to pull out a superhero part of me that will then shut that down. And that's in there. I'm not going to lead with it. I'm not going to show it very often because, again, it's not consistent with who it is that I am and what it is that I value. But it is something that I know how to turn on, and that's why I work with all my clients to give them those little snippets of, like, this is when you need to turn that on, and this is why. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, of course, guys, you need to get this book, Standing Ovation Presentation, Discover Your Unique Actor Type and Let It Shine. And what I also want to ask you, you know, I think that when we hear corporate or executive or entrepreneur or big business or Fortune 500, I think that those words are often associated with something that is very hard, very rigid, very structured. And I would love to know, and I'm sure everybody else would love to know, is what is maybe the top takeaway that you want that professional C-class of people to understand about flex?
Yeah, I love that question also because that is true, that rigidity, and often my buddy will sometimes pull back when talking to C-suite people about my archetypes because of that presumption. But what I find is when I do, people are just so relieved because what they need to know is that they can be effective and they can be powerful and still be themselves and still be engaging. And that's the piece that most people don't get, is that what I said before, to be engaging and what you're up there for is because you have something to give. You are in the position of power because you have something to give to other people. So when you present yourself, that's what it should be about, not about holding back and being this rigid authoritative thing, because then no one wins. You know, you're not sharing your knowledge from a deep, authentic place, and people are not receiving that knowledge from an open, trusting place. And that's what we need to get at in corporate America and in America and the human beings in general, is that this is a give, get situation. You know, like the more you give, the more you can get, and the more other people will get from you.
Absolutely. Wow, Robin, this has been a fantastic conversation. There's so much that I'm going to gain from reading this book, and you guys should get the book immediately. I mean, at Amazon.com and BarnesandNobles.com, you can get the book. Standing Ovation Presentation, Discover Your Unique Actor Type and Let It Shine. That is the title. You can also find Robin at her website, which is speaketc.com. Obviously, you do not need to spell out etc. It's speaketc.com, and you can reach her at Robin at speaketc.com, and you can also give her people a ring at 646-470-2360. Again, that number is 646-470-2360. This has been amazing. I'm so juiced up to know this information, like rehear it and hear it in a way that relates to the movie, to the film. And what a perfect way to just say to you guys that your life is a movie, you know, and you have the complete power and the grace and the God-given right to create your movie as you wish it to be. So thank you so much for being with us, Robin. Guys, it's been Motivational Minds Radio. This is Giselle, and we will see you next time.